Welcome to coastal Oregon. Look at this. The clouds have rolled back. There's the Pacific Ocean down there crashing against those rocks. Rocks I have seen before. Because those rocks, and in fact the very ground we're standing on, were seen in one of my favorite movies of all time, The Goonies. Right where London is standing right there is where Mikey and the boys crested the rise, ditched their bikes. And there's that close shot of them against this very sky looking at the treasure map. They pulled out One-Eyed Willie's doubloon and used the holes in it to line them up with the rocks. And then just under this now broken tree over here, they gazed across this meadow towards the lighthouse constructed for the film and the Fratelli's hideout in that old abandoned restaurant. That right there is the Goonies tree, or what's left of it. The very one in that crane shot where they're all walking underneath it. And although for decades the internet said that this picnic shelter or the restrooms down there were where they built the Fratelli's hideout, it was just over there across this meadow. And the crazy part is all of these locations from the Goonies are in a very, very popular state park. Ecola State Park or Ecola State Park. I can never pronounce it. It looks like this. So far everyone I have heard say it has said Ecola, so that's what I'll stick with for now. Not only is this in Ecola State Park, which is very popular, it's right here at Ecola Point, which is a very popular stop within the park, and straight forward from that parking area in this grassy meadow to the right of the main trail with the picnic benches and the fire pits over against these trees. That is where the Fratelli's hideout was located, the old abandoned restaurant just built for the film at the back area of where that grass is right now. It's basically the farthest grassiest point you can reach if you stick to the right when you leave the parking lot. I don't know why for decades on the internet everybody thought it was that little structure over there on your left. You can actually see that structure in the shot in the movie where the Goonies are going across the field here. Then you can see that rock in the background that's partially obscured by trees at the moment. And then they pan over this way towards the hideout. The boys actually duck behind a big pile of logs and junk, which were actually camouflaged for the picnic benches that were cemented or asphalted into the ground out here back then. Look, you can see sort of the remains of where they were. And I don't have the right lenses, but that cuts somewhat seamlessly in to where the Fratelli's house was. Behind the boys' heads, you can just make out a little bit of the land back there beyond Cannon Beach. It's definitely grown over quite a bit out here. The way that the trees are grown up on the hills behind, and the shrubbery is grown up to our left, blocking the clear view down to the beach and the rocks in the ocean. At least when you show those shots side by side like that. But when you roam around and peer down at the rocks, everything matches up. And this was the place, back at the far reaches of this little grassy meadow area. Somehow, some way, for some reason, they've kept this part of the grass mowed. Basically right here where the clearing meets the low shrubbery and you see this trail splitting off. This was it. This was the Fratelli's restaurant. The front porch where they came up actually peers this way right into what is now these tall trees. And then when they come around the corner of the front of the restaurant, you can see that rock down there in the ocean just for a split second in the background. It all lines up, friends. See, when Chunk sees the ORV with bullet holes and he runs around to bump his friends through the front door. So crazy because if you know what to look for, you can line everything up. Like I said, I don't have a zoom lens with me right now, but the way the haystack rock is peeking up just above the horizon, this is the spot where the Fratelli's front porch was. Now, I didn't just figure this out right now. I figured this out years ago, and several people have been out here and pointed out the correct spot since then. I came up 3 years ago, I think, during COVID, during 2020. That was the last time that I was out here and found the locations and all that stuff. But this particular location, it was dark by then. And I mean like really dark, like sun over the edge of the world out there dark. So the footage was grainy and weird, and I never really had a chance to see it in the daylight like this. Plus, I'm on a road trip with my son, London. And what better thing to do on a father-son road trip than share my passions with my kid and come up here to Astoria, Oregon, and the surrounding area, the site of the filming of the Goonies. So those are two reasons for stopping here. The main one, of course, is to share all of this with London. But the other thing that makes it worth it is a certain primary location was very much closed off to the public and especially to Goonies fans the last time I was in this area, and supposedly that has now changed, which means London and I are about to truffle shuffle our way back to the car, back up the coast from Ecola State Park up to Astoria. You did it, London. You visited the Fratelli's restaurant, which means somewhere down there is the home of Sloth. Hey, you guys! It's the home of Sloth! They don't care. They don't care up there. Actually, just before I go, there is a sign out here next to the parking lot letting you know this is where the Goonies was filmed, and also a scene from Kindergarten Cop, which I'll get to on a future visit. Just remember, to the left of the Goonies sign, that's where the boys come over the hill. They look at the doubloon. There's the tree down there, which is actually broken behind this shrubbery over here. And to the right of the Goonies sign, way over there, that's where the Fratelli's hideout was. All right, yes. I'm getting more excited every second because we're back in Astoria, Oregon. I mean, this is like stepping into Star Wars or Indiana Jones for a person of a certain generation. I guess everybody like me that's in prime dad age now, and a lot of people younger than us, always wish we could come here. Astoria is on our bucket list because of the Goonies and the Goonies House, and that's where we're going next. You'll remember that I did a whole Goonies locations video all over this town, but other than just being here with London, the reason I'm back is because last time I was here, the Goonies House was owned by a lady who was she'd had enough of all the visitors and all the trash and all that kind of stuff, and it has a new owner now, and the house is much more open to the public. It's still a private residence in a dinky little tiny neighborhood though, and that's why we've parked here at this baseball field since there's no baseball games going on, and we're going to walk up that little hill back there, which leads pretty much straight up to where the house is. That's what the city asks that you do and all that stuff if the baseball field's not being used, because that's the main complaint of the local residents is the traffic up there, because you have to turn around in people's driveways, and the trash. We're not going to leave any trash. We're not going to go driving up there and turn around in anybody's driveway, and we're going to be quick, quiet, and respectful. Oh my gosh, I forgot just how beautiful Astoria is. The other place you can park if there's no school is this local elementary school on 36 and Duane. The problem is that anywhere near the Goonies house, there's just these little tiny streets, and most of them dead end, and you don't know that until you're in them. And if we want fellow Goonies like us to stay welcome in Astoria, we gotta be really careful not to make the neighbors grumpy. I've already seen a lot of out-of-state plates driving up there towards the Goonies house, not knowing what to do. You can't fix stupid. Look, there's a big sign right here. They're really trying to manage the crowds because they keep growing every year. For the most part, people do a good job. They've had a bunch of city meetings and stuff like that. I'm sure they'll figure it out. They expect crowds during the summer months and during the daylight hours like this. What they really don't like is people turning up at 2 a.m. Okay, look at that. There it is, the Goonies house. Look at this. Last time, this is as close as you were allowed to get. Now, Goonies are welcome. This is it. We're going up the driveway. Okay on foot, not okay by car. This is awesome. It's happening. Oh my gosh, even though I've been here before, I am blown away right now. Dude, I am so stoked. That is the freaking Goonies house. You can see now why they don't want cars up here. It's a total dead end. Any car up here is gonna kick up the gravel, disturb the neighbors, make a bunch of noise. But look at this. The Goonies house is now owned by a fellow Goonie like us, solving the problem of people bothering the resident of the Goonies house. But of course not the problem of people bugging the neighbors on the other side or the neighbors in Data's house over there. That was Data's house in a movie right next door to Mikey and Bran. This is so awesome. Now, some people have gotten lucky and the homeowner will be here and you'll get invited up onto the porch or maybe into the house. I'm assuming none of that cool exception to the rule stuff happens during the summer when it gets really busy over here. But look there's the side of the house. This is the part we couldn't see last time, where the gate was, where Chunk did the truffle shuffle, where Data zip lines from the window across the driveway down in to the door. Look at this, watch this. Here's the house's first appearance in the movie. And here's the way the Goondocks and that same panning shot up to the house look today. Pretty darn close. Like I say, I don't have all the right lenses to make it match exactly. Dude, when Chunk walks up to the fence, it's such an iconic scene. And look at that. We're roughly in the same position. I don't want to go any farther than this white picket fence right here, because at the moment there is a car parked up here in the driveway, and this sign does say private property beyond here. Now, I don't know if that means going this way, going behind me, going up the driveway. But I'm just going to try to be as respectful as possible. Now, my dream is to get in that house, to spend the night in that house. My real dream is to own that house and live in it forever. Clearly, a lot of people have the same idea, so I understand why access can be limited. But if anybody ever meets the homeowner and can hook that up, let me know. By the way, you ever notice that Data and everybody else come in through the side entrance around by the driveway? But Mouth, if you're watching the scene, he comes in through the front door. A front door I don't think is there anymore. Strange, the mouthiest, most disrespectful one came in through the front and didn't sneak up the driveway. I'm trying to be the same way. I don't want to sneak up on the porch. I don't want to sneak back there up on the hill so I can get the same angle as the zip line thing. What I'd like one day is permission. Hey, I can dream, right? I can dream. What the coolest thing is, well, besides seeing the freaking Goonies house itself, is looking out this way and seeing that shot, that iconic shot of Astoria, the houses in this neighborhood. It's the Goondocks. Just think, this could have all been a country club if it weren't for the Goonies and their friend Sloth. It's so cool. There's so many people up here bringing their kids like I am, coming up with their buddies and living full Goonies. I've definitely seen a lot of guys my age dragging their families up here, that's for sure. But before you think the whole town is just infested with people just because of coming to the Goonies house, Astoria's been really crowded. All the hotels have been crowded and full the last couple of days. London and I had to sleep in Washington across the bridge last night. Luckily, we did manage to get accommodations in the Goondocks tonight. We're staying in Astoria at a pretty cool hotel that I want to show you before we sign off. So things are tapering off a little, but it's still summer vacation, and Astoria is a heck of a popular stop. All right, now I could sit here and stare at this all day. I mean, seriously, it's taking me back and making me feel like a kid again. I'm stoked, but it's time for London and I to leave our cash donation in the little donation box right here. I was thinking, you know what they should do is the neighbors should have their own donation boxes outside just for the trouble that they have to go through. Although I know Data's house neighbors were pretty cool to me and my friends last time. And on other previous visits when the homeowner didn't want people up here, they would go, yeah, you can come up here, you'll be my guest or whatever. I didn't film that. And in fact, I didn't even come all the way up the driveway. I was too nervous. Invitation or no invitation. Some of my friends did later though, right after me. But anyway, we spent a little too much time here. We've seen 20 or 30 groups come or go, and actually we put in our service and paid for it by being the default photo pass people. London's been taking people's pictures for them, but now it's time to go. There it was, my friends, the return to the Goonies house. I finally made it. And now it's time to head off, find One-Eyed Willie's treasure. Or actually, maybe just some food. And head back to the hotel. Slowly. I'm literally dragging my feet. I just want to stay up here. I want to stay up here with Mikey and Bran and Data and I guess Chunk and everybody and Carrie Green and Lucas and all the other 80s characters, Alf and Michael J. Fox. I just want the 80s back a little bit. I just want to always be a little boy and to have fun. What's wrong with that? The 80s were so good. I'll even take the 90s.
Come on, old man, come on.
Okay.
Let's get you back to the old folks' home.
Okay. Can we watch the A-Team?
Sure.
All right, look at this. The Goonies house is just at the dead end of the street as I'm looking at it over here, Duane Street. And we are down here at the other dead end. And look at our lonely little car. I think Astoria could fix all the car problems by just putting a lot down here somewhere. Maybe behind the baseball field right there. And just putting a sign up that says official Goonies parking. Then the catch-22 is that if you do that, does that encourage even more people to come, which will make even more goons drive into the neighborhood by accident? Because look at this, London and I are the only ones that park down there, even though several websites recommend that you park down there, you don't drive into the neighborhood. So, I don't know what the solution is, but I'm glad to check that off my bucket list at last. Unless, of course, they call me and let me inside, then I'll gladly come back. But then maybe I'll be allowed to park at the house. Anyway, by the way, if you come here because of me, park down here. Let's all be respectful. Let's be the good guys. Hey, you London! Hey, you guys! Get it? Get it? Why is he walking? Why is he walking away? Hey, you guys! How is it that teenagers can get embarrassed even when there's no one else around? Dude, how much does it cost to sponsor the baseball field right here? I want a banner out there on the Goonies baseball field. That would be sick. Maybe I go here to find out. All right, time to hop over the street to the Safeway, grab some grub, and then we are gonna show you where we're staying tonight. It is awesome. All right, check this out. Just in the shadow of the Astoria Megler Bridge that connects Oregon and Washington is this, the Atomic Motel, an old school motor motel just here off the side of the 101 Pacific Coast Highway, the giant bridge connecting two states. There's a crazy amount of traffic that passes this way, which is why they built this motel in 1962 as, I believe, a lamplighter back then to lure in travelers off the highway who might be tired from coming up the coast or coming down the coast, as the case may be, and get them into one of their swanky, comfortable, deluxe motel rooms back here. Now, that was 1962. Of course, all those mid-century motels fell out of fashion and became musty, crusty, remodeled in the 70s with ugly brown and avocado colors. If they didn't become dens of iniquity, then most at least lost their mid-century charm. But the lamplighter here was remodeled in 2016 by new owners and is now the Atomic Motel. Last time I was here, we were looking for a hotel. We booked it in advance, and we were driving down here and stayed at the Holiday Inn Express, literally silhouetted right there underneath the bridge. And as we were pulling up, I drove down this road right past this and went, oh man, I want to stay there. I vowed that day that if I ever returned to Astoria, I would stay in the Atomic Motel, because you know me, I love an old school motel, especially when it's restored, remodeled, regains its mid-century charm, and especially if it has any kind of theme. And the Atomic Motel in Astoria, Oregon is overflowing with theme, maybe too much theme. Look at all this mid-century glory. Look at the size of that mid-century fireplace. You got the boomerang coffee table, the mid-century modern furniture everywhere. Adam West in the corner. There are so many little details in here, things that send you back to that time period in the 50s or 60s in the popular imagination. Maybe they're not exactly period correct, but overall, the theme of this place is awesome. And my favorite thing is that the Jetsons is on TV. Why is it nobody ever talks about the Jetsons anymore? By the way, weren't the Jetsons supposed to be living in the 2020s like us? Weird. Where's all of our robot servants and flying cars? Mr. Spacely's gonna hear about this. All right, guys, this is a pretty no-frills motel, but it's got a great theme, and I can't wait to show you our room, the only one that was available for us. Back upstairs in the far corner, up yonder, we got ourselves a deluxe room indeed. Dude, this is so rad. Check this out. Look at this room. First of all, look at the size of it. There's so much space in here. Look at the high ceilings, the wood beams. There's more than enough room to swing a cat. You could swing a whole pig in here. Coming inside, first thing in front of us, the TV. You got this mid-century looking desk and chair. We've got actually 2 queen beds in here, and there's a little twin. Look at the funky amoeba little decoration on that. All of the furniture has those little mid-century legs. Look at this backboard behind the bed. How swanky is that? Weird pig-themed art on the wall. And over behind our stuff over here, look at this cool mid-century style chair and table set with that rad lamp on it. We got a little bit of a river view, and you can see the bridge and the highway out there. There's no air conditioning here because even in the summer, like right now, it's the height of summer. It's only like 70 degrees outside, so you just open up the windows, and we're actually far enough from the highway that it's not that loud in here. Look at the little bed. It's got that funky headboard and this funky matching lamp. But check this out. There's a little alcove over here with the sink and that cool boomerang mirror. They've got a fridge and microwave, which is a must for me because, you know, celiac disease, I travel with my own food. Little microwave there, a little fridge, on theme to that kind of 50s shape and color. And then in the other direction, look at that shower curtain. That rules. Shower and a bathtub, always a bonus for me. I don't have a bathtub at my house, which means the only time I get to rub-a-dub-dub is when I'm on the road. You see those original windows there, the original old school tile, old school tub. I mean original like it's not brand new. It probably doesn't date back to 62. This is awesome. London's already digging through the food box over there. He's about to make himself a meal. We're gonna be just kind of hanging out in here, chilling for for the rest of the day. Yesterday, we went into a Walmart and we saw all the school supplies, and it dawned on London that he's got to be back in school in just a few days, and he really wants to get back in time to do what?
Dump out my entire backpack and get more stuff.
You remember what it's like going back to school the first couple of days. You don't want to be late. You don't want to be missing anything. You want to make sure your clothes are clean. You got your hair cut. You got everything ready to go. So this is as far north as we get. I was hoping to get up to Seattle, but then I realized flights to Seattle aren't that bad. If I can find somewhere to stay, I might head up there in the near future. This trip was more about me getting to spend some quality time with the boy, which we've done. And of course, it's still 2 or 3 days of driving to get back to Southern California, so we'll have a little more time to hang out with each other. This might be the high water mark for how northerly we get on this trip. So I'll see you guys again in the very near future, back down in Southern California. There are a lot more Random Land adventures ahead, so please do me a favor, check out the links below in the description. We can't go do these adventures without you. Also, I've recently uploaded some other videos to my second channel, which you may want to check out. I'm not sure if I'll bring the second channel videos over to this channel or what's going to go on. There's a lot up in the air. But as for this episode, it's over. We've done our duty. Time to motel and sleep well. Give me a soda faster. Give me a soda or you're grounded. I don't like it. The worst part about this is that, one, is that you're on it, London, so it's shaking. And two is that I know this is the shortest one and it feels like it's gonna snap and we're gonna fall. Don't think about it, just look up. Look at the redwood trees. Oh gosh, okay, good. You must go faster, must go faster, must go faster. Oh!